Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rotoworld Draft Day. I am Patrick Daugherty, joined by my friend and colleague, an excellent fantasy player, Mr. Denny Carter. We are coming to you from beautiful New York City, New York, also known as Stamford, Connecticut. We are in the New York area, though. By the way, thank you to the Uber driver who cut off approximately every other driver in the Triborough area to get me here on time today.
He had that dog in him.
He did. He had that dog in him. But we're not here to talk about excellent Uber drivers. We're here to talk about our PPR mock draft. Any loaded group of people: Jen Eakins, Chet Gresham, Miss Cooter Doodle, Kyle Dvorchak, Denny Carter, you may have heard of him, Eric Samulski, myself, DJ Short, Andy Behrens from The Deep Shot, Ian Harditz from Fantasy Life, Davis Maddock from Fantasy Life, Aditya Foldiore, a Rotoworld freelancer, excellent writer, super sharp group of people. And yeah, we're going to take you through a PPR mock draft. Any early thoughts here, Denny? Are you nervous? Are you scared?
I am nervous and scared, and I'm ready to overreact to preseason usage and preseason trends. No, everything is almost locked in at this point. In the summer, we have some injury news trickling out from the preseason, from training camp. It allows us to, I think, more correctly value some guys, especially if you're talking about like the Tennessee backfield, for instance. We know what we're doing now. Things are set. I'm ready.
Denny, so the lights aren't too bright. You're ready for me to hit start on this draft for you to go?
The lights are bright, and I'm ready.
We're ready to start the draft. This cannot be undone, per sleeper.com. Jen Eakins is now on the clock. We're rolling a PPR. Let's be real. PPR should just be called standard now.
It should be.
It should just
honestly
be called standard now.
Yeah, we stop with the standard scoring. PPR opens up many avenues for more players to be relevant on a week-to-week basis. To me, and I think to Pat, it's more fun. So try PPR if you haven't.
The non-glib case for PPR is that not that you were being glib. Sorry,
I was.
I very
Clearly,
frequently make the glib case for PPR. Like, some people might be wondering, okay, but seriously, stop joking about PPR. Like, why should PPR be the standard? To me, the main thing is it deepens the player pool.
It does.
Anything that deepens the player pool makes more wide receivers valuable and makes a lot more running backs valuable. Running backs who would otherwise just be stuck on the waiver wire. They're there because they catch passes.
That's right.
You can argue about whether or not they should be doing that in real life because it's really not that efficient to target the running back.
No, it's actually horrible.
It's horrible, but we love it in fantasy. By the way, Kyle Dvorchak really wanted to be with us here today.
Yes.
He is somewhere lost in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yeah, we're looking for him. We have people looking strongly into where Kyle is right now.
He has cell service. He used it first to call AAA. He used it second here to take CeeDee Lamb at the 1-4 spot.
That's something, because now I'm faced with having to not take Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, so Denny
at number 5.
On the clock, Jen took Jamar Chase at number 1. Bijan Robinson, who's been going 1-1 in a lot of leagues, number 2 to Chet.
Yeah.
Miss Doodle took Jahmyr Gibbs, who I would have honestly probably taken first or second. I am just in love with Jahmyr Gibbs this year. CeeDee Lamb, the wide receiver 2, a little off ADP from Kyle, but emphasis on a little. What happens when CeeDee Lamb goes at 4, Denny, is you get Justin Jefferson at 5.
You're going to have to live with Justin Jefferson, is what I'm thinking. Although I would have taken Lamb pretty easily over Jefferson, just to be clear.
So Justin Jefferson has the hamstring. He has the first-year starting quarterback. Are you worried? Are you not worried?
Yeah.
Clearly you took him. So.
I mean, I was agonizing between him and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I went with Jefferson, partly because the whole offense will revolve around him. I do think the Vikings will be slightly more run-heavy. I don't think J.J. McCarthy will be that, and this sounds weird, but that big of a downgrade from Sam Darnold. In fact, I think they will be just about the same. And then you have Jordan Addison out for the first month of the season. I think Jefferson can do his normal thing there. I will say though, Chase clearly a better option this year. CeeDee Lamb clearly a better option, and I think you can make a case for St. Brown being a better option.
So you were debating Justin Jefferson versus Amon-Ra St. Brown. So let me rephrase my question. Why did you make the wrong choice? Allow Amon-Ra St. Brown to fall to me. I have a scary amount of Amon-Ra St. Brown. One reason I keep taking Amon-Ra over Justin Jefferson this year is frankly the boomer reason. I've had Justin Jefferson like a lot the past few years and just kind of want to try something new.
Yeah, sure. Exposure.
Exactly.
This is the excuse always. I got to get some exposure.
Always, but the positive case that I keep finding myself making for Amon-Ra St. Brown is a bit of a negative case on the Lions, where I just think the Lions, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're coming back to the pack a little bit this year. The defense won't be as bad as it was down the stretch last year because he can't possibly be as injured.
No.
But I don't think it will be as good as it was to begin last year and maybe as it was at the end of 2023. And I'm almost envisioning kind of like a greatest show on turf type team for the Lions, Denny. We're one of the years where like the Rams, the 2000 Rams, an infamous team where I'm from, St. Louis, horrible defense, unstoppable offense. It's kind of what I'm banking on, especially without Ben Johnson. I think they might be like doubling down on their simpler concepts, on their best players. That's Amon-Ra St. Brown. You and I both love Jameson Williams, though. Isaac Tesla is popping as a sleeper. But I just feel like 180 targets just feels like way too realistic for me.
Sure. I think Dan Campbell will be more into the pass-heavy thing than Ben Johnson was. Wow. I know that sounds weird because, we think of Dan Campbell as like a tough guy, established the run, this and that. But when he has, kind of taken the reins of this offense before Ben Johnson fully took over, he was not afraid to throw the ball. Also, we have to remember, Dan Campbell likes to win. He likes to win. And importantly for fantasy, he likes to score touchdowns.
He does.
And so I think that aggressiveness could translate into more dropbacks. Will that be good for Jared Goff? Probably not.
No.
But would it be good for a PPR merchant like St. Brown, of course?
Well, and it'll be great for Jared Goff in fantasy. Real life, Jared Goff looking for reasons not to be dropping back so much because he doesn't want to be losing the fumble. And my life is over, by the way.
Yeah, he was just sniped here. Pat was just sniped. Bucky Irving went one pick.
Curious, DJ Short has the gall to call himself my boss.
And yet
a hostile workplace act of taking Bucky Irving. No, DJ made by far the best pick on the clock. It's a really, really good pick.
Yep.
And now I feel like you're talking about more passing game volume. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Oh, let's do it.
I'm doing A.J. Brown for the second round.
Yeah.
You lay out what's going on with A.J. Brown, then I'll lay out the case for why I took him.
So the Eagles last year were one of the most run-heavy teams in recent history. Okay, like if you look at like the past decade, they're the fourth run-heaviest team over that decade, right? So the likelihood is they're going to regress into a more balanced offense. It's just the way it goes, right? I don't have the math here, the numbers in front of me, but it is the way it goes. So
you're referring to the due principle, of course. They're due to pass a lot more.
Due to pass more. If that happens, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith instantly benefit. All right, I'm up, and I'm considering Brock Bowers.
You're considering Brock Bowers. While you consider that, I'll tell you the one piece of data on the on the Eagles that I do keep coming back to your point. 2021 to 2023, Jalen Hurts averaged 30 pass attempts a game. Not gangbusters, but more in line with like the league the normal rate. Last year, it was 24 per game. And to your point, you don't go from 30 for 3 years to 24 then. I mean, maybe the Eagles with Saquon Barkley will just continue to run as pure as you possibly can, the most efficient offense in the league. It just seems like that 24 number was so artificially low, and it has to come back to the 30-plus attempts per game per pack. And I'm really betting on that. With A.J. Brown, who I feel like every summer report on A.J. Brown's like, he was getting his knee drained every 45 minutes last year.
It's never great health-wise for A.J. Brown, but he doesn't miss that much. He's not chronically missing games, which is important.
Also never great taking a 1Z position in the second round, like you did with Brock Bowers. To take a tight end in the second round, or even the first round, like Travis Kelce went for a few years, they have to be a model breaker. They have to be so far ahead of the rest of the pack at tight end that you're just getting a massive positional advantage. Yeah. That is certainly within the range of outcomes for Brock Bowers. Why did you feel comfortable enough taking him?
He had the worst quarterbacking in the NFL last year in Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, as far as like catchable ball rate, pass rate or completion rate over expected. All the nerdy metrics said that whoever was throwing Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers the ball last year could not get it to them efficiently. It goes to Geno Smith here in 2025. Now, I'm not exactly like a Geno, like a crazed Geno fan like we see online sometimes.
Yes.
But
they are legion.
They are, and they're upset anytime I suggest that maybe he's not the best quarterback in the NFL. But here's what he is. He's very accurate. And I think that he will pepper Bowers with targets in the middle of the field. He's actually really good at throwing to the middle of the field. Bowers has a clear path to just, as our friend Pat Crane might say, legendary upside.
He does have a path to legendary upside. I believe Kyle must have lost cell phone service in the Blue Ridge Mountains because he took 2 running backs in the 2nd and 3rd round.
We need to find him.
We do. His Zoomer card revoked. Like, does AAA, they don't sponsor the show, but do they have like a Find My Friend feature?
Yeah.
Like, is Kyle Dvorchak?
I'm worried. I'm worried because he took Jonathan Taylor. So Kyle started with CeeDee Lamb, took Jonathan Taylor, and then Omari and Hampton in the 3rd. Not necessarily bad picks by any means. Hampton in the 3rd is pretty good. I'm up.
You are up. You have 28 seconds left. Hampton in the 3rd is great, to be honest. And I feel like with some leagues where, even in home leagues, you have people who they want to be perceived as, I'm up on the sleepers. Like, I know everything there is to know about sleepers. And I think you might see Omari and Hampton go ahead of Jonathan Taylor in some home leagues. Very interesting that Kyle got both. Jonathan Taylor, talk about a guy who ran pure last year. I think he was 3rd or 4th in the league in rushing, despite appearing in only 14 games. It just feels like too much of a tightrope act for me. Like, that is kind of like, that's like a really good outcome for a Jonathan Taylor season, because he's normally missing more time than that. And you have to be so efficient. Like, it's kind of a chaotic offensive environment. I do worry about Jonathan Taylor. I'm not alone in this, of course.
I do think Daniel Jones being under center for the Colts, as much as this hurts me to say, is a good thing for Jonathan Taylor, because Daniel Jones likely is not taking those goal line touches for himself to rush into the end zone like an Anthony Richardson would, and did late last year. That really dings a running back's touchdown-based upside. You need that with Jonathan Taylor because he's not out there catching 5-6 passes a game. He relies on those touchdowns. He relies on those big runs. Also, I have a nerdy stat I know you're picking here.
I was giving it some gravitas, so bringing an air of importance to my pick.
I'm on pins and needles, and Pat
made a horrible pick.
Breece Hall, horrific pick.
I made a thank God it's a mock pick, even though we take the mock drafts very seriously, but I'm not sure if in the home league or in the industry league I would have the guts to take Breece Hall there, and I did do it in a mock draft because. A little looser, and it's like, you know what? I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry.
You're trying it out.
Yeah, well,
you're seeing how it fits.
Yeah, what I'm really seeing is Braylon Allen. Like, are we for real? Are we for real about
you're
this?
Such a Braylon hater.
I am. Hater's a strong word, but I'm not a Braylon believer.
You're a skeptic.
I'm a skeptic, and a team that we keep seeing reports out of Florham Park that they kind of want to lead the league in rushing attempts.
Yeah.
Even if it is a legitimate, strict 2-man backfield, the lead back in that offense is not a bad place to be, especially a lead back who has a 3-down pedigree. Breece Hall has not been the same since his torn ACL is the concern.
Yeah.
There are legitimate worries there, but I don't know. I just tried not to overthink it. The lead back for a team, this kind of letting it be known, if they were to lead the league in rushing attempts, that's not something they'd be upset about.
They're not going to throw.
No.
It's just, that's why I have such a time taking Garrett Wilson at ADP, is because even if he dominates targets, and he will.
He could lead the league in targets. I think we're kind of underrating this outcome on the Rotoworld Football Show.
No,
we don't ever talk about it.
No, absolutely not. That's not happening. He'll lead the league in target share. Okay, he'll have a 35% target share, and it'll be the same as Jerry Jeudy, who has a 20% target share in Cleveland, as far as raw number of targets.
Listen, my grandfather grew up in the Ozarks during the Depression. That part is very much true. This part might also be true. They fed their family on target share. Right? You can feed your family on target share, Denny.
You have to try hard.
You do.
But it works. Air yards work as well.
They do.
You put them on a plate, you put a little salt on them, you say, here's your air yards, kids.
Air yards are even more nourishing.
Real quick, back to Jonathan Taylor, just real quick. It's a good rushing environment in Indianapolis, and what I mean by that is that the Colts were top 5 in yards created before contact last year. That's largely an offensive line stat. So that line can create room for Jonathan Taylor to run, and we know that Taylor, when he gets loose, can create big plays. So I actually am warming up to him. That
Colts line had kind of been on the decline and then did stabilize a bit, and they're going to pass a lot more this year.
Yeah.
But Daniel Jones is still not pass happy. It's going to be a balanced environment. And listen, if he can have the seasons he did with that poor of quarterback play last year, especially, Daniel Jones, he doesn't get a lot of respect from the defense. He gets more than Anthony Richardson was getting last year.
Yes.
Although they were terrified of the dual threat. I hope that those factors do not offset. But.
Yeah, we've talked about it on the Rotoworld Football Show where to expect Daniel Jones to start 17 games seems almost comical at this point. Riley Leonard will eventually be the starter.
All right.
I was just seeing if you're paying attention.
Can we remove Denny's earpiece? I can't cut his mic as easily in this environment, but if we could just go ahead and remove Denny's earpiece, that would be absolutely great.
Can I talk about my third-round pick?
You can talk about your third-round pick. This is the first time where I'm not doing this for like power purposes or gravitas purposes. I don't know who to take here when I'm on the clock.
So
Actually, I do.
Pat's on the clock. He is going to take Xavier Worthy, which I think is actually a pretty good pick. So now you have St. Brown, A.J. Brown, and Xavier Worthy. That's not a bad trio.
I mean, with Breece Hall, we can't call this build anchor RB or hero RB, though, can we? Because he's not a clear-cut RB1. Like, is this more, not 0 RB, but like 0.5 RB build that I'm verging towards? I don't even know what you would call this.
Oh yeah, it's not hero, because you would have had to take a first or second round running back to be hero RB. I don't know. This is
This is new.
Some version of it.
This is new. This has never been tried
Some
before.
version of it. It's a good time to try it in a mock. I went ahead and reached hard on George Pickens.
You did.
In the fourth. So now I have Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, George Pickens. I mean, the knock, and I mentioned this on the show the other day, but the knock on Pickens for me has always been he's a Steeler, so who cares? The Steelers never pass the ball. They pride themselves on always running, on playing in nasty, cold, windy, rainy environments. That's all gone now. Like the Cowboys, who clearly don't value running back at all, okay, and who now are going to be without Jaden Blue, maybe, who has the ankle injury. They're going to have to start, Miles Sanders or Javonte
here's
Williams.
the deal. This is being recorded a little bit before Thursday, so by the time you hear this, like Miles Sanders was cut 2 days ago.
Yeah, right. That could definitely happen. But what I'm saying is they will have no choice. The Cowboys will have no choice but to drop back and throw it a lot, and maybe at like a top 3 rate, okay? You have Pickens and CeeDee Lamb taking in, 50% or more of the targets. And that creates a lot of raw target volume for Pickens, which we've never seen. We've never seen before. So if we can get more of like the more reliable targets for Pickens and not just 25, 30-yard downfield targets, I think he could be great for fantasy.
Pickens is, like, you can't help where you played the first few years in your career, but man, if he had just been anywhere else, like I think I've been somehow transported to the Dallas Cowboys this year, his ADP would be much higher. And I think Pickens could be one of the single biggest smashes of the 2025 draft season. Because the Cowboys, I would say they're one of the 3 or 4 odds-on favorites to lead the league in pass attempts. And behind Pickens and behind CeeDee Lamb, it's Jalen Tolbert. It's Kevontae Turpin. There's another one I'm forgetting. Brandon Cooks. No, Brandon Cooks is back on the Saints.
The point is Ferguson.
The point is, it's hard to remember. Just Pickens. He's never going to be like an 8 to 10 targets per week type of guy.
Well, now he is.
If he can consistently, though, be in that 5 to 8 targets per week, you're just talking about an entirely different beast in fantasy football than what we've got. We already had a guy who was a wide receiver 3 who could win matchups on 1 to 2 catches. It's even just 5 to 8 weekly targets, Denny. And you're talking about like a rock-solid wide receiver 2. And if it goes to 8 to 10, you could be talking about one of the most surprising wide receiver 1s we've ever seen.
Yeah, I think that there's a scenario if Dak Prescott can manage to stay healthy this year. There's a clear scenario where both Lamb and Pickens are top 12 receivers. And we've seen this before in pass-heavy offenses. We saw, I think back to like, the Zoomers won't remember, but like the Falcons with Julio Jones and Roddy White, okay? Like both top 10 guys at some point. I think that could definitely come to pass. I took Calvin Ridley next. And I know we disagree on Ridley, probably.
We do. Real quick, Denny, by the way, I'd be remiss. We're drafting with Miss Doodle, with Mr. Ian Harditz from Fantasy Life, and there's so much good stuff over at Fantasy Life this summer. Get personalized fantasy football insights based on your league settings with Fantasy Life Plus. Your league is unique. Your advice should be too. Head to fantasylife.com and use promo code ROTO20 for 20% off. You took Calvin Ridley, Denny.
Yeah.
Someone who I have never drafted, except for I always drafted him. He was someone like every year, like, I can't do it. And then the value was always too good, and then the value was never there. I've been in like very complex negotiations with the Fell For It Again Hall of Fame. Like, I want to be inducted into the Fell For It Again Hall of Fame this summer on Calvin Ridley, because yet again, he's hovering around wide receiver 30.
Right.
You and I both I think you think to a degree much larger than I do, that the Titans are going to be a much better offense, many more pass attempts, where I actually am in on Calvin Ridley too, especially where you got him. Why are you in on Calvin Ridley?
This is the Cam Ward upgrade, okay? Look, I know no one is thinking about or talking about the most recent number 1 overall pick in the NFL, okay?
You and I keep talking about this in the show. It's
crazy.
Stunning. The number 1 overall pick, and he barely comes up.
He gets no press.
Yeah, literally no press.
No press?
No press at all.
And I guess, because he goes to an irrelevant team, and the Titans, my Titans are going to be good this year. And Cam Ward is the reason. We talk about bad quarterbacking that the Raiders pass catchers had last year. The Titans were right there. I mean, Will Levis, Mason Rudolph, this is a nightmare. This was a nightmare for Calvin Ridley last year.
I think you and I kind of talked about, this is the point that didn't really need to be made, but especially in hindsight, you see Will Levis, like if you go to, something I love to do, Wikipedia lists. If you go to the list of Tennessee Titans starting quarterbacks, which is a thing you can do, like a year or two, we're going to go there, we're going to see Will Levis, and we're like, man, get serious.
How did
that happen?
No, absolutely.
How did you allow
I mean,
that to happen?
Will Levis is a guy who started week 1 last year and is now essentially out of the league. Okay? And by the way, totally predictable. I mean, who could have seen this coming? Everyone could have seen it coming because, Will Levis, I'm sure, a very nice young man. He likes his mayonnaise. Never been good. He's never good. He was never good in college. Apparently, I looked into it. I'm not kidding. Wasn't good in high school, but here he was strong and he was fast, and so they thought they could make him a quarterback.
Very curious that he's never been good because everyone seems to think Liam Cohen's going to be good. Liam Cohen was one of his coaches in college. You like R.J. Harvey there for me, Denny?
I like Harvey. I like Pollard more.
Yeah, so Pollard, I wanted to make the point. A lot of news this week. Most of it is around the fringes of the rosters. You don't want to overreact or necessarily underreact. You do have to react. Tony Pollard, one reaction to the injury, to the cut-down news this week, Tyjae Spears on IR, out at least 4 games, as you mentioned. You have to react and treat Tony Pollard as not only a clear-cut RB2, probably a top 20 running back at this point, to be honest. Maybe even top 18. That's starting to feel kind of ridiculous saying that out loud, but he is one of the biggest movers this week to me, where he was already a low-end RB2. I think now he has to be treated as a top 20 running back. And to someone that got no buzz, understandably so. He has not been the same since his compound fracture of his leg. But the workload is workload, and he has it this year.
He is going to have a path to 20 weekly touches to start the season with Spears on IR. Khalil Mullings, the rookie, is going to be the running back too. And it does make me a little queasy that the coaching staff in Tennessee can't stop talking about Mullings. Every time someone asks about Pollard, they immediately start talking about Mullings. But I think that it is clear that Pollard is going to function as the RB1, and just based on workload alone, and importantly for PPR, which what we're doing here today, he's going to catch passes out of the backfield. Top 12 is in the range of outcomes for as long as Spears is out.
Denny, 2 things you do this time of year: you react to news, and then you just ignore the things you don't want to hear. I've been ignoring all the stuff about Mullings, like it's not happening. I didn't hear about it.
Never even heard of him.
By the way, this is not a joke. Kyle Dvorchak has texted us from the Blue Ridge Mountains. I have a text here from Kyle. I was thinking about doing the George Bailey. Stop! When he's reading. I forget how they read telegrams.
The kids know about
they
George
do.
Bailey.
They do. I'm reading a telegram from Kyle Dvorchak from the Blue Ridge Mountains. Pat, stop. Nice job not letting Denny get bailed out. Stop. With R.J. Harvey. Stop. Kyle loves to see your 0 RB just wrecked. And yeah, you took Aaron Jones. It's over for you. It's over for you.
We are miles apart on Aaron Jones. I don't care about the other guy in the Minnesota backfield
Jordan Mason.
I don't care about Jordan Mason.
You don't care at all that they went out and traded for him. Didn't just sign him. They traded for him from the San Francisco 49ers.
So he is like a metrics running back.
He is.
And
he's
that
a spreadsheet guy, totally.
And fortunately for Aaron Jones, metrics don't matter when it comes to running backs. So he's going to continue to be a metrics bro. and Aaron Jones is going to catch passes, and that's all I care about. All right, so I'm up here. I'm going to go receiver, believe it or not.
Take Jordan Mason.
I will absolutely never take Jordan Mason. I'm actually going to go with Jacoby Myers. Oh, no. Wait, I have Bowers.
Yeah, don't go with Jacoby Myers, too, because you don't even know what team he's going to be on.
Well, he did ask for a trade.
Demanding a trade. Our trade, listen, we got to work on our trade demands as a country. I'm sorry, Jacoby Myers cannot be demanding a trade until, when Jacoby Myers signed with the Raiders, everyone's like, wow, it's kind of heavy for Jacoby Myers.
Right.
And apparently it's too late per Jacoby Myers.
Right.
And demanding a trade.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm actually just going to go with Bo Nix because I like my running quarterbacks.
Thank God it's a mock.
And
thank God this is a mock for Denny.
It might actually be the only time I've taken Bo Nix this whole time. But I'm not taking any of these running backs. Joe Mixon, Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Johnson. I'm not taking any of them right now.
Denny, Bo Nix to me feels like kind of a hinge point player in drafts this year where the ADP is pretty high considering how thin his resume is. But, man, there's a chance we're underrating what he did as a rookie.
Yeah,
and that,
I think so.
And that the rushing is going to be sticky and that the passing is just going to be so much better. They have Evan Ingram. They have Pat Bryant. They traded Devon Valet, which kind of brings clarity to the receiving corps, to how the targets are going to be doled out. And I really do think, despite it seeming like an ADP that's always been slightly rich to me this summer, I think Bo Nix, we could look back and man, needed to be so much higher on Bo Nix than we were.
I mean, the rushing is important. I also think, having Evan Ingram, Pat Bryant, if he is all that Sean Payton says he is.
Michael Thomas 2.0.
Right, Cortland Sutton. That's a pretty good group. Marvin Mims. I haven't even mentioned Marvin Mims as a guy who, it is very nice when your fantasy quarterback checks down to a guy at the line of scrimmage and that guy takes it 95 yards for a touchdown. That's a nice thing. That's what you have with Marvin Mims. Bo Nix is fine. I took him after Baker Mayfield. I feel okay about that.
I feel good about that.
I took him just after Patrick Mahomes. I actually feel good about that. I'm sorry to say.
Denny, we've been talking a lot about ourselves.
Let's talk about another team.
Any of these teams catching your eye in a positive way, a negative way? Probably positive. Who else? Denny and I'm having the best draft, obviously, because Denny never has a good draft because he never drafts running backs. But he is still having the second best draft. Who's someone else having a good draft, Denny?
I actually do. I want to shout out Chet Gresham here, picking out of the second pick.
Chet Gresham, an industry legend, by the way.
That's right. We love our Chet. He took Travis Kelce in the 6th round. Travis Kelce, by the way, we're breaking news actually. Well, I know people will be watching this days later. Travis Kelce engaged to Taylor Swift as of this morning.
Actually,
we're getting. I've always wanted to hold my ear. Yes. Okay. Yes, we have confirmed it. Yes. Travis Kelce engaged to Taylor Swift.
That sort of sounds like it's never been more over. Now he's just he might retire. I've been cast in the Naked Gun too.
No, this is good. Analytically, it's good. This is his last hurrah. Right. He has one more in him.
I do think, not kidding, what I keep comparing Travis Kelce's, this is going to be a really annoying comparison for a lot of people.
I can't wait.
But Travis Kelce's 2025 to me sort of feels like David Ortiz with the Boston Red Sox in 2023, or Albert Pujols with the 2022 Cardinals, legends who had Hall of Fame careers that were they were tired of doing all the maintenance that comes to keeping your body in shape to be a professional athlete. It takes such a toll, but they committed that final year to just doing whatever it took. That is kind of the sense I'm getting from Travis Kelce, I'm going to be on the trainer's table 18 hours a day. I'm going to do whatever it takes to go out as the Hall of Famer that I am. That's just kind of the vibes I'm getting from Travis Kelce.
I think the vibes are actually pretty good. All right, I'm up, and then I want to read you something about Travis Kelce's regression, incoming touchdown regression, because it's happening whether you like it or not.
I do like it, by the way, because I'm all in on Patrick Mahomes.
You are, unfortunately. All right, so I'm actually going to take Josh Downs here to fill out my my receivers. I now have I have 5 receivers in the first 8 rounds, I believe. Josh Downs, target magnet. Again, don't love saying it, but Daniel Jones is good.
You really are saying, whoa.
I
thought you were going to say it was better than what was there.
Is good for Josh Downs.
Okay. All I don't really allow.
I guess I should say better.
Yeah, that's better than saying he's good without a qualifier.
Oh man, I do want to say I messed up here in not taking J.K. Dobbins when I could, because as much as I loved R.J. Harvey to begin the offseason, I've come around completely. I mentioned Dobbins in my Zero RB piece, which folks can find on the site. He's just going to be the guy. Like, he's just going to be the guy.
I thought you were going to say he was going to be involved.
No, not
I was
involved.
like, it's a little different. I'm sitting here with you in person, and I'm like enraptured in what you're saying, and I was not expecting it to be J.K. Dobbins is me the guy.
The guy, great pass protector.
He's a good pass protector.
Pro Football Focus graded him as the 4th best running back pass protector last season, 3rd best the year before in Baltimore. R.J. Harvey, famously bad at that, and had really something we haven't really talked about explicitly. R.J. Harvey had a catastrophic training camp. Every review that came out of training camp was, this is not good. Sean Payton kept trying to tamp down expectations around the rookie. Maybe, by week 8, week 10, week 12, maybe this looks completely ridiculous. But to start the season, I think Dobbins will be the clear-cut lead back.
What you just said about Sean Payton and like the buzz, as it were, on R.J. Harvey is true. What I will say, it might be Cope. This very much could be Cope. Sean Payton is one of the least reliable narrators, like in the NFL. Where like you you never know if he actually believes what he's saying. You really never know why he's saying what he's saying. He is one of the He's like one of those old school coaches where he believes in like obfuscation at every turn. Like I feel like he never just says what he means.
Right.
And I don't know. We'll see. It could be a mind game. He plays mind games with his own players. It could just be a mind game with R.J. Harvey. But that aside, what you're saying is true. It has not been a buzz-filled training camp for the second rounder, barely a second rounder, R.J. Harvey. Drake May to Kyle Dvorchak here in the 9th round, didn't he?
Drake May, he loves Drake May. I don't get it myself, but
I did not get it until just this week I published. I ranked all the fantasy offenses 1 to 32. I'm not entirely sure why I do this exercise every year, but in the article, I used it to just like set the scene for all 32 teams from a fantasy perspective. Like, here's how things are looking in Vegas, etc. And I also do it because when you're on the clock, what is one of the best tiebreakers? Like if you can't differentiate between option A, option B, I feel like a great differentiator is just who's in the good offense, who's in the better offense, the offense with more upside.
The offense that's going to score points.
So I ranked the fantasy offenses. I had the Patriots really low at the beginning, like 28. I didn't move them that high, but they were a team that I got them up to like 23 or 22 because like so many teams ahead of them, like, you know what, the Patriots actually have like a little more upside here. The Patriots are relying on 3 like buzz all-stars. They're relying on Drake May, Travion Henderson, and the 3rd-round receiver, Kyle Williams. And they need a lot to go right with like their buzz all-stars, but they have like 3 super buzzy guys at 3 different positions. And I just think there is a genuine upside outcome with Drake May and the Patriots. I do think Kyle and his ilk, the best ball bros as they're known, maybe a little overly bullish on Drake May, but I would be lying if I said I didn't understand the upside. I did not understand the upside case until about a week or 2 ago. I'm more comfortable with the upside case now.
Okay, this has nothing to do with statistics or analytics, but I don't like the way Drake May runs the ball.
No, it's awful. You get one welcome to the NFL moment.
Yes.
He had about 5 or 6.
Exactly. Yeah. Like there was no learning, no adjusting for him. He's running as if he's still at college and he's the best athlete on the field. And he's not even like among the top 10 athletes on the field at any given point.
He's a great athlete, but I've seen 2 quarterbacks get away with that. Cam Newton, Josh Allen. There are 2 quarterbacks in recent, even Lamar Jackson, maybe the greatest rushing quarterback of all time, avoids those hits.
Avoids hits. Lamar will sacrifice 2 to 4 yards on a single carry to avoid a hit. Drake May will get popped for an extra inch on the field. That can't happen.
It cannot happen.
And so yes, he runs, but is that good? I don't know. Real quick, can I just finish on Kelsey real quick?
Please do.
I wrote this in my touchdown regression article from a couple weeks ago. So he only turned 3 of his 25 red zone targets into touchdowns last year. He saw 10 inside the 10 targets, which is pretty good. He only scored 2 touchdowns. But he commanded a 27% red zone target share in 2024. That was an increase from the past 2 seasons, one of the highest among tight ends. If he can just cash in some of those opportunities this year, that 6th round ADP that Chet Gresham got here could look great, I think.
Could look great. Listen, I enjoy the sleeper service. I use it a lot. It's a little hard to scroll on the desktop.
It's not easy.
I just bounced myself from the draft room twice, Denny. So we keep talking about ourselves. Ian Hartitz, our friend, our former colleague, current fantasy life impresario, Derrick Henry, Brian Thomas Jr., James Cook, Travion Henderson to begin his draft. 3 of 4 running backs. 4 of his next 5 picks are receivers then. You always talk about zero RB. What is the upside with like RB heavy? One of them, especially Travion Henderson, kind of a buzz merchant. What are the risks? What are the upsides of that kind of build?
I like the Henderson pick a lot.
Love the Henderson pick.
In fact, I should have strongly considered that.
You should have. That's all right, though.
That would have been cool. Instead, I have Nick Chubb as my running back 2, and
lucky it's a mock.
I don't feel great about that. Although he was officially named like the lead back the other day, so what can you do?
Get to know the name
anyway.
Joquavius Marks, Woody.
Woody.
Get to know Woody Marks.
We love Woody. Yeah. If you're going to go running back heavy, I think Ian has done a good job here because obviously he has Brian Thomas, who he has the wide receiver 1 overall in his range of outcomes. Let's be real about that. Jameson Williams, one of my favorite picks. He has Hunter, who top 24 probably. The Addison pick, I don't know. Because you're missing 4 games.
3 games.
I'm sorry.
Let me be clear. 3 games. But
I would have, like Matthew Golden went after him. Ricky Pearsall. I would have gone Pearsall probably over Addison here. But overall, like this is how you do it. If you are going to go running back heavy, follow Ian's lead.
And Andy Barron's just timed out because he was looking for Ricky Pearsall. Andy Barron's obsessed with Ricky Pearsall.
Well, Andy, if you notice, has a theme going.
Tell us about it.
It's all about the 49ers for Andy, and that makes sense because the 49ers are due for team-wide touchdown regression. They ran ice cold last year. Everybody ran ice cold. I think that has something to do with missing Christian McCaffrey, but Andy is in because he started with McCaffrey up top. He got George Kittle in the 3rd round. Then he got Brian Robinson in the 9th round. So he was looking for Pearsall, which makes sense if you're going to go in. He's going to get Purdy later, obviously.
He will get Purdy, goes without saying.
Well, he has Burrow, so maybe not. But yeah, and that's actually a great way to approach drafts is from, like Pat, you just said a minute ago, from a team-wide standpoint. Like, how is this team overall going to do? They're going to score a lot of points. Are they due for negative regression, positive regression, and then go from there?
That's something that always comes into play, too. Human nature, I understand why people always fret over this, but one of the most common questions I feel like we get as fantasy analysts, this is a bad example, 2 elite players, but it's the best one I can think of right now. Like, how can I really start T. Higgins when I also have Jamar Chase? Obviously, bad example, but always, how can I start so-and-so when I have so-and-so from the same offense?
Yeah.
And the response is, listen, if the offense is going to throw 40 times, if the offense is scoring 28 points per game, you just don't worry about that. You can't predict how the targets are going to be doled out this week, but we know on the whole, on average, both these guys are going to get their numbers. And don't worry about necessarily something like, I already have his teammate. Do worry about something like, is this an elite offense that's going to score me a lot of fantasy points?
I hesitated on Jacoby Myers earlier. I mentioned that I had Brock Bowers, but I
just choked on a pick, by the way. Remember to ask me about it.
Yeah, I will. But if you truly believe, like I do, that the Raiders' offense is going to be efficient and going to be much better than they were last year, then both Myers and Brock Bowers can get there for fantasy purposes at their respective ADPs, I think.
Well, Kyle Dvorchak, by the way, fully recovered from his moment of Jonathan Taylor weakness. He has fallen for it again with Dalton Kincaid in the 10th round.
I hate to report that Dalton Kincaid is one of the best target commanders among tight ends.
Oh, no.
I hate it. And the only thing holding him back is that the Bills don't let him run a lot of routes.
Yeah, because Dawson Knox is better, so that is holding him back a lot, I would say.
Clearly Dawson Knox is better. and they like him more. And
They like him so much more.
Right, and he's friends with Josh Allen.
Yes.
I've never heard Josh Allen say anything about Dalton Kincaid.
No.
So
Dawson Knox, every other thing is like, he's the godfather of my kids.
Yeah, right. I mean, almost literally, like that is actually how Josh Allen talks about Dawson Knox. But if Dalton Kincaid can get up to like an 80+% route participation rate, that's a great pick by Kyle.
I was almost going to say an old aphorism. I don't know if you can say that on air, so I'm not going to say that. But
tell us about your choke pick of Kyle Williams of the Patriots.
Everything you just said about Dalton Kincaid sounded a lot like, well, if so-and-so were my so-and-so.
Yeah.
The choke, Denny.
How'd that
I was
go?
on the clock as a grown adult, someone with a family, someone with like ties to the community. I have a mortgage, all these things. I needed to be comfortable enough taking Keenan Allen, and I just wasn't. I wanted to look cool.
You should have taken him.
I wanted to look cool. I took Kyle Williams instead of Keenan Allen. I choked. And
so you folded under the pressure of the Zoomer industrial complex.
I did.
Here.
I did.
And you should have just been an elder millennial and taken our guy.
Yes.
Our guy. He belongs to the millennials. Keenan Allen. He's going to catch 6 passes a game. It's going to be boring, but in PPR, you're going to like it.
6 passes, 71 yards per game. Are you going to take him? He's still in the hopper there, Denny.
You know what?
Please.
Actually, I cannot, because I am so down bad at running back that I must continue to take running backs, and I'm going to take every analytics nerd's favorite running back, Bashal Tutin.
Oh, yeah. Great pick, to be honest. I actually stunned he was still out there. Why is the Bashal Tutin hype? It's been percolating all summer. It never boiled over. Was there a reason for that?
Well, because he still has 2 guys in front of him at this moment, as we're talking. Now, if by the time this airs...
And Eric Samulski took Keenan Allen right before me.
You almost got away with it.
I did almost get away with it.
Oh, man, that is
Bashal
tough.
Tutin, though, just felt like an ADP runaway to me, and then it never happened. I just expected that to be a runaway ADP.
So we did get a report yesterday that either Tank Bigsby or Travis Etienne could be traded before week 1.
It's hard to believe one of them won't be.
It is. The current coaching staff for Jacksonville has no connections to either of these guys.
No.
They have a really strong connection to Bashal Tutin. I just tend to think that eventually Tutin will emerge as the lead back. I don't really know how it'll happen, but I think it's a decent bet.
That with Bashal Tutin, I guess that is why it never took off. It's just something that feels like it's going to happen, but today, late August, you can't quite pinpoint the route yet, and that makes you kind of uncomfortable when you're on the clock, but it just seems like something is going to happen, and Bashal Tutin could be winning leagues almost in the 11th or 12th round this year.
And
he could seriously, Bashal Tutin could be a league winner. It could sound totally absurd. It could be like the way we were talking about Kamani Vidal this time last year. But he could be a league winner, Bashal Tutin.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite like the Vidal situation, but I can see a path for that. One thing in the Liam Cohen offense that we know is that running backs are deeply involved in the pass game. Tutin was in college an efficient pass catcher. That's one of the areas where he shined in training camp reportedly. So even if he doesn't have that like first and second down role locked in, even if he shares that, between the tackles, the tough running, the stuff that we don't, honestly, as fantasy managers, we don't really care about all that much, right?
Doesn't matter.
Like the banging between the 20s, leave that to Tank Bigsby, okay? I'm good with that. And by the way, Bigsby went 1 pick. Kyle took Bigsby. I'm shocked, actually. I'm shocked.
Kyle needs a new phone.
Have we found him?
Kyle needs a new phone.
Has anyone found Kyle?
That text was real, by the way.
We need a new search party.
We do.
I mean, I gotta hear about why Kyle would take a non-pass catching back be ahead of Bashal Tutin. He must be completely out on Tutin.
I gotta ask you why you took a non-pass catching back far, far ahead of by far the best running back who is healthy on the Houston Texans roster, Woody Marks. Pass catching extraordinary. You took Nick Chubb.
Well, I don't even think Woody Marks is going to be the pass catching back.
I know. Who is it going to be?
It's not him. I think that he's going to be
Dare Ogunbowale.
Ogunbowale,
Still on the
yes.
Texans. That's not good for me. But.
All right, so I'm going to take another guy who I think has, as tired and exhausting as this phrase is, and as much as I hate to use it, there is no other way to say it, league-winning upside. And that's Ollie Gordon.
Ollie Gordon, man, I had Woody Marks and Ollie Gordon in my queue, and I could get immediate buyer's remorse choosing Woody Marks over Ollie Gordon.
And
because Denny White, Devin Achane banged up.
Yes.
Jalen Wright, talking about an anti-buzz summer.
Yeah.
This the negative drumbeat for Jalen Wright all summer.
all right, so Ollie Gordon, 126 yards on 26 carries in the preseason, almost 5 yards per carry, averaged almost 4 yards after contact per rush. So a guy who can create on his own, in other words. His college profile took a big ding last year because he only ran for about 800 yards.
He wasn't good, but yeah.
The year before, he was good. He ran for almost 1,800 yards and I believe 20-plus touchdowns. So he has it in him. He has that hyper-productive profile in him. I like him a lot in the Dolphins offense. If Achane's banged up and Jalen Wright is out for who knows how long with a leg injury, Ollie Gordon emerges as like one of the most important early season factors in fantasy.
You're really not overstating the case. And a backfield that they want to be a two-back backfield. They've always been a two-back backfield. I think sometimes I overstate how much they did commit to Devin Achane in early downs last year. Mm-hmm. I think whatever the commitment level was, you can quibble with. I think it was too much, and that he needs to be dialed back. That they need that early down complement. Jalen Wright is now 0 for 2 on emerging as that early down complement.
Yeah.
And Ollie Gordon.
And Jalen Wright struggled in training camp, struggled mightily in the preseason. Yes. He almost on his way to becoming a meme in the preseason. It was so bad. Stuffed 4 straight times at the goal line against the Bears. Fumbled the next game.
Come on, man.
Okay? Like, this guy was a total mess in the preseason, and Ollie Gordon shined at every opportunity, including as a pass catcher. For me, Wright is off the draft board.
Yes,
completely off.
He really, really is. And he was someone, this is why, buyer beware when you're drafting before training camp. I was taking a ton of Jalen Wright in the spring and summer, and things escalated very quickly.
Here's something interesting. As Kyle picks, he took J.J. McCarthy for some reason.
He did. He's all over the map right now.
I'm worried. Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's still on the board in the 13th round.
It's over. I mean, that's why. It's over.
Okay, but if it's not over, somebody's going to get, and I'm not taking him.
I'm not. If he goes out saying I'm not.
I'm taking Jerome Ford here.
Jerry Ford. Not to get political.
But Joe Mixon's going to go maybe in the 14th round. If he's back by like week 3, that's the best pick in the draft.
Well, I believe he's going. Isn't he on IR, Denny? I believe he's missing 4 games.
He's not officially yet.
I believe he's going to IR. So I believe, famous last words, Joe Mixon is missing at least 4 games, Denny. We'll look into that extremely strongly while I get prepared to pick in the 13th round.
Yeah, I'll text the interns.
Beginning of the year on the NFI list, he's missing 4 games, Denny. So it's looking over for Joe Mixon.
That's tough for me.
That's real tough for you.
It's tough. That's tough for me. I have Joe Mixon in a couple important leagues. Didn't realize the foot situation was totally catastrophic. But what can you do?
What can you do? Point? Use the phrase "didn't realize." The guy I'm going to take here in the 13th round, Denny, Brenton Strange. Not that he's like someone who should be going super high in drafts, should be getting a ton of buzz. I think people did not realize he was still in the queue. Something to always.
He's way down.
Something to always keep in mind. Sleeper has great pre-ranks. Yahoo always has good pre-ranks. ESPN always has good pre-ranks. There are still people that get buried. They get lost in the shuffle for whatever reason. Their projection system doesn't like the player. And always scroll down. Mm-hmm. Always scroll down. You do not know who might be there. For me, it was Brenton Strange in the 13th round. Very happy with this pick.
I like that you're a Brenton Strange truther. It makes me feel less weird about how much I've taken him this offseason.
I think what it really is, Denny, is that I hate to say it too, because I think for us, the ultimate never been good player is Trevor Lawrence. And I'm just a Jaguars truther. Like, you look at the Jags on paper, this is just an offense you want pieces of.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
Travis Hunter's kind of expensive for someone who's never played and is playing two positions. Brian Thomas Jr., there's such tough competition in the first round. I just haven't gotten him a lot. And I think I have taken Brenton Strange in seriously almost every draft that I've done. I think it's my subconscious way of acknowledging I have to get a piece of this Jaguars offense.
Absolutely, yeah. Producer Steven is happy to hear you say that the Jaguars offense is going to be good despite us thinking that Trevor Lawrence has never been good.
But I cannot hear Producer Steven, so tell me if he says anything else good or bad about my team.
Yeah. I will say, just as far as the way I'm drafting my team, if folks want to check out the bottom half of my draft, you'll see it's a bunch of green. Went fully green here because if you invest so heavily at wide receiver and tight end early on, you have to take some lottery tickets at running back. So yes, I'm down bad at running back.
You are. I mean, again,
Aaron Jones and Nick Chubb are my top two. But if any of these guys hit, then I'm okay. Tootin, Gordon, Ford, even Braylon Allen, who Pat hates, is skeptical of, I should say.
Dan, let's be real. Here's what happens when this draft ends. I close my computer, I get out my phone, I text Kyle Dvorchak on our text thread with you, Denny's team, LOL. That's what happens with your running backs there. And no, when you do zero RB, you're going to have to be comfortable with a team that might not be pleasing the masses, let's say.
Listen, for folks who are new in the fantasy industry, my suggestion would be to never show your zero RB team in public because it will be eviscerated by the public.
It'll be ridiculed. Your friends, your neighbors, your family members in the group texts will text LOL.
Man. So DJ Giddens was in my queue. He was taken by Eric Samulski. I'm upset.
Great pick by Eric. DJ Giddens, you want to talk about a high upside contingency back. You're talking about maybe plug and play RB1.
Yes.
For DJ Giddens.
You absolutely
That's
are.
the bullish case. That's pretty bullish, but it's within the range of outcomes that he is a plug and play RB1, DJ Giddens.
All right. Am I going to take Mixon?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. And leagues have IR spots now. We've modernized.
Right.
And unless you get an injury apocalypse, you're probably not going to need all 2 or 3 of your IR spots before week 5.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, it's the classic. You might not think the player's good. It doesn't matter if the situation's good.
And the team loves him.
Yes, the team absolutely
cannot get enough of Joe Mixon. We saw that last year. Pass catching, goal line work, everything. He gets all of the high leverage touches. Honestly, just for the folks watching, my plan was not to keep an eye on Joe Mixon. I was planning to fully fade him, but the fact that he is undrafted in the final round, in the 14th round, I would have taken Giddens over Mixon, but I'll take Mixon. I have Chubb. Chubb's not my kind of option because, he lacks the pass catching, but he honestly, he should get 15 touches a week, maybe, to start the season.
We'll see. Well, Chubb could be in a classic. The Texans might be putting on a brave face right now, and then once things get real and they see him out there, this can't happen.
Sure.
This can't happen again.
Sure.
We cannot do this again.
I will say head coach DeMeco Ryans said recently that Chubb has improved as the summer has gone on. Because the early reviews, let's be real, were
They were
negative, almost to the point of is this guy going to make the team? Because they were look, he's a legend. He's Nick Chubb. Is he what he was? No. Is he still Nick Chubb? Yes. They're okay, thank you for letting me know his name's still the same and that he still responds to Nick. But, I wasn't interested. But then it started, there was a drumbeat, beat writers, teammates, coaches saying, he's actually he's learned the offense a little more. With Mixon out, he's functioned as the unquestioned lead back. I feel in the 14th you could do a lot worse than take that guy.
Denny, you said early reviews. The draft is over. The final pick was Theo Johnson by Miss Jen Eakins. What are the early reviews from us on our own teams? You go first. Well, actually, I'll go first. You were just talking a lot about your team. Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Breece Hall, Xavier Worthy, Tony Pollard. I'm trying to scroll down without it going back. R.J. Harvey, Khalil Shakir, Evan Ingram, who I have in quite literally every league, Dak Prescott, who I have in almost every league, Kyle Williams, who I do not have enough of, Luther Burden, Woody Marks, Brenton Strange, Hollywood Brown. I think I've got, despite being like sometimes a voice of boomerism on our show, I tend to draft pretty upside-heavy teams. I tend to end with a lot of buzzy players. I like guys who make big plays. I'm in a distance scoring league, you may have heard.
That's something.
My team's a little buzzy, but I think I've got a really good floor. I think I've secured ceiling outcomes. I am feeling good about my team, especially getting Tony Pollard. I wish this wasn't the pick I was just zeroing in on, but Tony Pollard in the 5th round. After kind of punting on running back early, Tony Pollard in the 5th round feels good.
I'm jealous of it as a guy who needs running back touches early in the season. I think your draft could hinge on a guy like R.J. Harvey.
Yes.
If he emerges, then that looks great. If he doesn't, then we'll see.
Because one big difference between both of our teams have weak running back rooms. The big difference is I invested a lot earlier capital in it than you did.
Right.
And so if mine is not panning out, it's a much bigger problem because those are not wide receivers stacking PPR points for me.
And I have to just say, Luther Burden in the 11th.
That seems fishy, almost like.
Is really late.
Did people not know he was there?
I feel like maybe not.
Scroll down. Always scroll down. You do not know where these services, where their projections have the player. Always scroll down.
So Luther Burden going after Keenan Allen is probably a little suspect in the long term.
Yeah.
At first that might look like the move because Keenan Allen's going to come out and have a full-time role. Luther Burden probably not, considering he was playing with the second and third team offense in the final preseason game and was only targeted on 12% of his routes throughout the preseason. So that's not good. But Luther Burden has upside. You don't have to play him.
No. Thank goodness.
So that's the thing about late round. In your final 4 or 5 picks for positional players, right? We're not talking about kickers or defenses. If you can identify guys who will eventually have a big role, you go ahead and you take them and you be patient and you get yourself ready to exercise some patience. You're not going to play Luther Burden in week 1, but by week 6, by week 7, he could be a luxury for you.
Denny, as we prepare to maybe call it a day on Rotoworld Draft Day, our PPR mock draft, any final thoughts, or are we calling it a day?
We can call it a day. I do think that there was some major value, especially in the running backs, because these drafts tend to be all about receivers and elite tight ends early on. But overall, good effort by everybody, especially you, Pat. Obviously the best team in here.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our friends and colleagues for drafting with us, some of the best and brightest in the entire industry. Thank you to our partners at Fantasy Life. Just an amazing website. So much good stuff. Fantasy Life Plus. Rotoworld.com. The Rotoworld Football Show all season long with Denny Carter and Kyle Dvorchak and some of our friends on Sunday evening. And you know where to go for all the latest breaking news. Every news item we'll have for you, every game recapped, every fantasy performance of note. So for Denny Carter, I'm Patrick Daugherty. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be with you all season long.